I attempted a survival fishing challenge. First, I got a small block of wood. This will be the bobber. I then sawed off a small cube of wood. It was time to drill a hole in the bobber. After the drilling was complete, I decided to sand down the corners. This is not necessary, but I felt that it made it look better. When the sanding was done, I highlighted the chunk of wood. This step is not totally essential, but it improves the visibility of the bobber. I then found a stick that was about the right size. I sanded it until it fit snugly in the hole. Then I cut off a small section. The bobber was complete. For the hook, I used some small wire. In hindsight, a small nail or safety pin probably would have worked better. I bent a small hook shape with pliers. For the eye of the hook, I repeated the process and then wrapped the wire around the shank of the hook. When this was done, I sharpened the hook. This is the final product. For the rod, I cut a branch off of a tree. I then cut the leaves and smaller branches off to make a cane pole. I used some thread for fishing line. I would rate it at about a half-pound test. Then I tied the line to the end of the pole. When I was done with that, I cut about 6 feet of line off to fish with. After that, I threaded the line through the bobber and pegged it with a stick. The last thing to do was to tie on the hook. It is a lot harder to tie knots with the thread than with normal fishing line. With all this done, I was ready to go fishing. I use small pieces of earthworms for bait. On the first cast, I hooked a small bluegill, but it came off. There were a lot of bluegill and I was getting instant bites on every cast, but I had a very hard time hooking them and landing them as the hook was not very sharp. Eventually, I was able to land a few bluegill and completed the challenge. Thanks for watching.